What's up, guys? What's up, Sir Dave? Daryl? Kicks good? What's going on, guys? Don't tell me I'm gonna have this bad video again today. What's going on? I see my output is low. Why is that? Jesus Christ. Let's hope it improves here. What's going on? Everybody doing good today? Hopefully some money could be made. We're counting down the days here. WNBA is almost wrapping up their season. Sunday is the last couple of games. It's going to be a busy next couple of games. No games tomorrow. There is a I believe a 5-game slate on Friday, and I believe there's only one game on Saturday, or no games on Saturday, and then everything else is on Sunday. Another huge they end the season with a huge 6-game slate on Sunday. So we'll see how Fanduel does that with the setting up the actual contests here. But that's pretty much it, you know. I mean, all right, man. Well, welcome, guys, man. I appreciate you guys coming out. I see obviously the regular people, which is really nice to see that I have my regular supporters coming out. I appreciate you guys, man. I hope I've been able to give you some good information, and hopefully I've been able to help you guys build some good lineups. Of course, there's some days we're not going to get great lineups. It's going to happen, and then there's some days that we're going to do very well. So let me just go over the latest news as far as lines are concerned. Earlier today, Washington, Indianapolis was 163.5 implied totals, and that has changed to 160. It was 163.5. Now it's 165 with Washington favored by 11. So in fact, they actually have gone up one more point. And then we have New York, Las Vegas. Implied totals earlier in the day was 168.5. Vegas was favored by 12. Those lines have changed to 169.5 with Vegas favored by 11. So a couple changes there, nothing major. Injury news, obviously Ariel Atkins. I'm sure a number of you are following all that. Ariel Atkins AA is out for Washington, as well as Tiana Hawkins. So, but that is obviously what Atkins out. Now, again, remember Atkins does play the 3 spot majority of the time for Washington, but you can see an uptick in minutes here for sure for Curry, and possibly even Ruffin Pratt will get more time on the floor. So that'll be like a pick 'em there as far as price is concerned. They're only like $200 or $300 apart. And then with T-Hawk out, obviously I would think Ariel Powers is going to get some more time on the floor today. Maybe even Crystal Thomas. I'm not sure, but I'm leaning more towards Powers. What's going on, Devin? What's up, Randy? What's up, Tori? Yeah, I heard that. That's, you know, hey, she remember she's Australian, so she could play overseas, and maybe she makes more money, and maybe she's just frustrated that her team is just, you know, tanked really badly here in these last 7 or 8 games. So maybe that's a reason why. Who knows? You know, but she definitely has had a marvelous season here in the States. It will be a shame to lose someone like that to the international leagues, because she is definitely a superstar here in the WNBA. All right, so let's go. I'm gonna go over. I did my due diligence. I looked over some players. I gave you a video earlier with obviously that was, you know, first look. Like always, and I don't see too much of a change as far as what I've seen, as far as looking up some stats. Looking at the Washington Indy game, and I'm just going to go to it right now. Washington Indy game, man. I am looking at it like this. Let me just clear this up because that's not my regular lineup. All right, so Washington and Indy. When I look at the guards, Christy Tolliver is definitely someone to consider today for sure, guys. If you haven't decided on her, I think she is not a bad play. She is coming in. She's solid. She's been solid. She's averaging 25 points which pretty much is her average over the last 3 out of the last 4 games. So that's above average. I kind of like that. The next thing I also like about her is that she's had, even though the games are early on, remember, these games with Indianapolis were earlier in the year. They played very early in the year. Obviously, you know, a lot of things have changed, you know, rotations, all those things come into play, players' minutes, you name it. But back then, she put up 47% shooting percentage against Indy in those 2 games and also shot 50% from 3. So I definitely like what she could bring to the table. Another thing also to remember with Indy, the stats I gave you guys earlier. Indy is coughing up 34-35% to opponents as far as 3-pointers. And we know that Washington, their percentage points from 3 are about a third of what their offense is. They basically are, they revolve their offense pretty much about 28 to maybe 32% of it is really pertaining to the 3-point shot. So they're going to definitely take 3-pointers. And they got 4 solid players that can do that. Christy Tolliver takes the most amount of shots from 3. She takes on average 6 shots. And then another thing that I like also about Tolliver in this matchup is that she is pretty solid on the road. You know, her numbers on the road, 44%, field goal percentage, 37% from 3. And then also from the foul line, she's like almost like automatic. She's, you know, she's like 92% from the free throw line as well. So she could definitely get you there, man. I think she is in a good spot. I do like Natasha Cloud as well. I obviously like Tolliver a little bit more, but Natasha Cloud is someone you can consider. 2-game slate. And when you're thinking about a 2-game slate like this, and then knowing that New York is playing on a back-to-back, like I said in the earlier video, and even I said it yesterday too, you could try to do everything you can to fade the New York players. If you're going to play one player, let it be 1 or possibly 2, and they got to be solid plays. They cannot be anything more than that. Don't stack up on New York. And this 2-game slate like this, and them playing Las Vegas today, I'm definitely targeting more the Washington-Indianapolis game. And remember, these games are 3 hours apart. So it's another thing to consider. And we know with New York, we never know whom is going to start, who's going to play, and who's going to go off. That's the biggest problem. So, I mean, so again, back to Natasha Cloud. I think she's a fine play here. Other than that, what I like most about Natasha Cloud is that she shoots the 3-ball pretty well. She's about 46%, 46.5% shooting the 3. And on the road, she's been fantastic. And in the last 4 games, she's been shooting the 3. This is during the last 3 games. She's been shooting 65% from 3. So, I mean, she's been on a little bit of a tear from the 3-point line. So someone to consider here, especially against a team that is vulnerable to 3-point shots. We get to the Indy game, the Indy players. I like a lot of the Indy players, to be totally honest with you guys. I definitely like a lot of the Indy players. I'm not on Erica Wheeler just due to price, 6,300. I see a lot of play here, and these are plays here that you can actually rotate. You can make multiple lineups and have one of these individual players each. Between the 2 Mitchell girls and Vivian's, you can actually make a few lineups with your core players and be in this range where you can just flip-flop these 3 girls, and one of them is going to have a good game. Which one is it going to be? I have no idea. They're similar to New York. Sometimes one of them goes off, sometimes 2 of them. But I do like Kelsey Mitchell and Victoria Vivian's more due to the fact that they're more explosive. They bring more to the table as far as upside. Okay, Mitchell comes in. She can get you 30 to 35. She shoots about 12 shots a game. Let me just double check that. Mitchell, where are you? Kelsey Mitchell. Yeah, she takes about 12 shots a game and 6 shots from 3. So she's taking 18 shots on average a game. And I like to see that, you know, especially from a rookie. 5,600. She has 35 point upside. You could get 7x from her on a good night. I think Kelsey Mitchell's a fine play, as well as Victoria Vivian's, and for the same solid reasons. Going back to Kelsey Mitchell, she's in the last 3 games, she's been averaging 38% field goal percentage and 39% from 3. It's pretty low compared to Tolliver, you know, for Washington, but that is fairly not too bad when you're still taking as many shots as you are. And remember, Washington is coming in. Washington has been giving up about 34% to 3-point shooters as well. So, I mean, they're vulnerable in that aspect as well. So there's a give and take here, you know. So both teams can have pretty good offensive games from 3 if they're nailing down the shots. And obviously, Kelsey Mitchell and Victoria Vivian's for Indianapolis take the most 3s. So Victoria Vivian, same thing with her. She has 35, 40-point upside. We all know that. She's shooting 41% and 43%, 41% from the floor and 43% from three. Okay, and that's like I said, Washington coughs up about 34, 35% to three. She has 40-point upside, and at home, she's been shooting 40% from the floor and 39% from three. So she shoots better three-pointers on the road, but 39% is still very respectable. So if she nails down a couple of shots, she could be definitely dangerous. And then the value plays here, I'm not on anybody else other than those girls. I think those are the best plays, in my opinion. And then obviously, due to the fact that Double A is out, Ariel Atkins, you could definitely find value in Monique Curry's going to get some more time, or maybe Miss Ruffin Pratt. You know, I would think those are the only two you can consider at this low level, and they're only $300 apart. So I wouldn't see. They both have 20-point upside, that's for sure. The one is shooting a little bit better as far as field goal percentage is Monique Curry, and the only reason I would go Monique is she gets about 3 or 4 minutes more on average as far as floor time than Ruffin Pratt. But at the same time, Miss Curry, the most important thing also is Indiana here. They give up 47% to the opposition as far as field goal percentage. So we want to get we want to target as many players as we can to have fairly good field goal percentage and are efficient with their shooting. And she's shooting at, between the two girls, she's shooting better at 44%. You know, and then she's actually shooting 44% on the road. She actually shoots better on the road than she does at home. So Miss Curry is definitely someone to consider. And Ruffin Pratt is right there, but she's shooting 33% for the year, so I'm a little concerned there with that she is not that efficient with her shots. But, you know, on the road, she's 37%. I still like the numbers of Curry better. But again, give or take, they're only $300 apart. If you can find value there, I think you can in one of those two girls. And on the front court in this game, obviously Delle Donne in play, you know, possibly the best play here in the entire two games, you know, other than Asia Wilson. Delle Donne, last 4 games, 56% shooting from the floor, 47% from three. Okay. You know, she's putting up some serious nice numbers. Then not very explosive as of late as far as fantasy points, but she's pretty consistent. She's averaging 41, 42 fantasy points per game on the road. So she does better on the road as far as scoring and getting more fantasy points than she does at home, where at home she's at about 36, 37 fantasy points per game. And then versus Indianapolis this year, she's 43% shooting and 37% from three, and then averaging about 38, 39 fantasy points per game in those two games. Other than her, I definitely am all over LaToya Sanders. A couple of reasons why. LaToya Sanders shooting 65% from the floor. She's also shooting 65% from the floor on the road, which is phenomenal. Okay, and she brings in 6 rebounds on average a game, 1.5 blocks, 1.5 steals, and she's averaging at least, you know, on average, she's averaging 25 to 26 fantasy points, which is pretty much her average, which is great. And she has 35 to 40-point upside. So definitely someone that I would consider too, LaToya Sanders. And another thing also, LaToya Sanders, Indiana they lost twice to Washington, and LaToya Sanders didn't play in either one of the 2 games. So that's even more insult to injury. I think LaToya Sanders is going to have a heck of a game here. It's going to be a tough task to deal with LaToya Sanders and Delle Donne. You know, so if you're not on Delle Donne, at least come down, pay $800 cheaper, and take Miss Sanders. The only problem with Sanders, the only drawback out of this entirely for the whole entire slate is we got to be aware that there's blowout potential in these games. But I think the Indianapolis game with Washington is probably going to be the most competitive one out of the 2, and I think you'll be able to get enough out of Sanders. So again, Sanders or Delle Donne, you cannot go wrong. I know you can't stack them both unless you're going to go really low on value everywhere else, and that means including jumping on some of the New York players, and I am not too fond of the New York players today. Candice Dupree, out of the 2 Indianapolis front court players, Candice Dupree is definitely the best play. I'm not on either one of them today. In my opinion, I think that you're better off going after Sanders or Delle Donne. But Dupree and Achanwa, you could always reverse this around and play, obviously, you know, players. If you're doing multiple lineups, like I've told you before, if you can go and switch it up, then you definitely should switch it where you're not going with any of Delle Donne or Sanders, or you can just rotate Delle Donne with maybe one of these girls, and you'll be fine in the front court. But I think the best plays are Delle Donne and Sanders, and then of course in the Vegas game you're gonna get A'ja Wilson. On a lower tier here, Mary Ariel Powers, because of T-Hawk being out. Ariel Powers may be someone to consider at 4,200. I don't know how many minutes she'll get, but she could be someone in play. And Erica McCall has been playing as of late, so don't sleep on Erica McCall. Okay. She's averaging 19-20 points. 19-20 minutes over the last few games, And let's see a quick look here. I know she doesn't shoot fairly well percentage-wise, but I mean, she's capable of getting you, high 18. She did that here in 20 minutes, so almost close to 1 fantasy point per minute could possibly be a play. All right. In the New York game, I'm telling you already, I'm not touching anybody in New York other than the same person I'm going to say again, and that's Kia Nurse. And the only reason I go with Kia Nurse, she's only $200 more expensive than yesterday. A number of reasons. Boyd doesn't score enough for me. She does a lot of the other things that are important, but she also turns over the ball quite a bit. Not on T. Young. Bria Hartley, same situation. She definitely has better upside than Boyd as far as offensively. So you may want to consider her for $400 cheaper. You can do that. I'm not on Sugar Rogers. I think Kia Nurse at 4,600, 40-point upside. She played 33 minutes. It's the only downside last night on a back-to-back. That may be quite a bit for her, but I believe she will be okay here. Because this girl, she's gonna have to keep playing, and they have to keep playing her to get her to the point that she becomes a little more consistent with her shots. Right now, she's very inconsistent. She's a streak shooter. So last night, she shot 17 shots. She only hit 4 of them. She was 1 of 6 from 3, and I think 3 from 11 from the floor. Today, she may shoot 17 shots, and she may get, a 50% shooting spree today. That's the whole drawback. That's the gamble you take. But at 4,600, I think that she's the only one that I will gamble here. Kayla McBride, hands down, the best play here. And I think she should definitely be, hands down, she should be the one playing. You should definitely have her in your lineups. McBride, she comes in at home. She shoots 46% from the floor at home and 38% from 3. And like I said before, yesterday, New York came into yesterday's game against LA, giving up 35%. Okay, they have trouble against three-point shooting teams, and now they got to face another team that shoots the three-pointer more efficiently than LA. So definitely a tough task on a back-to-back on these girls. I see Kayla McBride having a great game. Remember, Las Vegas wins this game. I think they tie or they surpass Dallas in the playoff race. This is a playoff game for Las Vegas. This is a big game. I expect Bill Laimbeer, who's a former NBA player, former champion, is going to get these girls with their mindset right. They're going to come out and they're going to take a stomping, hopefully, to New York. I advise you, do not play any of the New York players unless it's Kia Nurse in the backcourt. And then if you wanted to, you could go Tina Charles. But I'd be honest with you, Tina Charles played over 30 minutes last night. I don't know if she was going to go 30 minutes today, and especially she's not going to go 30 minutes if this game gets away from New York early. Okay, so the only drawback with this game is the blowout scenario here as well. But Kayla McBride, 55% shooting against New York in the 2 games that she played against New York, 55% from the floor and 57% from 3, with 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 32 fantasy points per game on average in the 2 games. So yeah, man, you can sign me up for her. Kayla McBride is definitely hands down a great play here. And if you're not going to pay up for Kayla McBride, I definitely say, hey, KP is not a bad play at 7,300. Very, very costly, but again, KP may be on the floor a little bit longer than McBride if this game gets out of hand. So you got to look at it that way too. That might be the one positive out of it. Other than that, like I said, New York only Kia Nurse. And on the bottom tier here, I'm not on anybody, not even Mariah Jefferson today. Forward, best play here on the forward spot, A'ja Wilson, hands down. Hands down, A'ja Wilson is the best play. You could play Tina Charles here for $400 cheaper, guys, but like I said, Tina Charles just coming from a back-to-back. They just finished losing. This team has lost 10 games in a row, New York. They have been really dreadful. Granted, they play hard every single time. They give teams battles. Again, like Indiana, anything can happen tonight. We've seen it. We've seen it last night with Chicago. I told you guys, watch out for Chicago. They may still give these guys a good game and end up winning the game playing Minnesota, splitting the time between a pace game and a slowdown game. So anything can happen. We've seen it all in the WNBA. It is really, really crazy. But A'ja Wilson, hands down in play. 43% shooting from the floor. Now, granted, the 2 games that she played against Las Vegas, the games that she's played against New York, she only shot 32% from the floor. I mean, she really was not that great. So I am all over A'ja Wilson. Tina Charles is a possible play. I just feel that she played a lot of minutes last night in a losing effort. I don't know how many minutes she's going to play. With New York, you just never know. Carolyn Swords, definitely at 4,500, is a valid play. Kia Vaughn played 27 minutes last night, and now she's here with a GTD Achilles. So chances are she's probably not going to play, or she's going to play very minimal minutes. So last night I was telling you guys, if you go with New York, go with Nurse in the front court and use maybe either Allen or Stokes in the front court. And lo and behold, they start Kia Vaughn, and Kia Vaughn plays most of the minutes. So this is what happens with New York. So now today on the back-to-back, I can't see her with a game-time decision of Achilles. You don't play around with Achilles. Chances are she's probably not going to play. A little sore there. So today, the value play will be Allen or Stokes. So you take your pick. Stokes will more than likely start, and Allen will probably come off the bench. At least that's what they've done before. So we'll see. But with New York, anything can happen. Come to the bottom half here. We still have De'Erica Hamby. De'Erica Hamby could be a sneaky play here. Now, you know, she gets a rebound. She runs the court fairly well. She doesn't put up a whole lot of points, but we need her to just get rebounds and get some assists and maybe even get some blocks and some steals. If she does that, she can get you the 20, the 4x you need here for that to pay off that 4,300. Other than that, that's basically it. That's what I'm looking at. It's very minimal plays here today. You know, I think the game to stack is definitely Washington, Indianapolis. You can get 5 players out of here easy, and then maybe go and get and target a New York value play and 1 player from Las Vegas, which I would advise would be either KP, McBride, or A'ja Wilson. That's what I would advise. All right, let me take a look at what you guys got for me. Yeah, Tori says, anybody else fading Liberty tonight? Yeah, I'm one of those. Hey, how you doing, Jose Garcia? Randy Ortega, let's see, Devin. All right, Prince Zealous and Zoe B is out. Okay, thank you for that information. Kick's good. Yeah, definitely. What games and players? Yeah, definitely. Mark Benitez. I pretty much. Again, the game to target is Washington, Indiana. I think Indiana has a chance here. If their backcourt can match Washington, they'll be fine. I don't think they're going to match them in the front court. Again, anything can happen. I mean, Indianapolis has been tough to front court players throughout the entire year. You know, they've just been having a little bit of problems as of late. What I have here, the last 4 games. The last 3 games for Indianapolis, they've been giving up 52 points per game to the front court. So I still lean towards Delle Donne and Sanders. I mean, that's a formidable front court play right there. Delle Donne is, you know, multifaceted. She can do so many things. And Miss Latoya Sanders is not, even though she could be a little foul prone, a little too physical under the boards, but she's a grimy basketball player, and she's capable of putting up points, and she definitely defends. She works her butt off. So I find that it's a tough matchup for Indiana up front with Delle Donne and Sanders. But again, anything can happen. I think the game could be competitive if the backcourt of Indy, like Tiffany and Kelsey Mitchell and Victoria Vivians and Pondexter, these girls can get themselves going. And like I said, I favor Kelsey Mitchell and Victoria Vivians simply because of the upside that they bring, that they can get, you know, they can shoot the 3. They take multiple amount of shots throughout the course of the game, not only 3 but up from the floor. And they play more than enough sufficient minutes to get some points up there. Tiffany Mitchell is definitely someone in play. I definitely like Tiffany Mitchell as well. I just am leaning a little bit more towards Kelsey and Victoria here, but I'm all okay with Tiffany and Kelsey. Miss Swords, Tina Charles. Yeah, James, Tina Charles will probably be low owned. And like I said, you know, I mean, I'm a little hesitant about playing Tina Charles simply because she played 30-plus minutes last night. I think 33, 34 minutes. And we don't know what New York is going to do with her, especially if this game gets out of control. So I don't know. I would rather fade Charles and play A'ja Wilson and hope that New York does keep the game fairly close and Asia Wilson puts up a nice game, or go with the backcourt of one of the backcourt players for Las Vegas. Carolyn Swords, I mean, yeah, Antoine Daniels, Carolyn Swords to me, I think is definitely in play. 4,500, not a bad play at all. They need her up there to rebound, and she is gonna out there defend against one of those big girls. I don't know if it's Stokes. More than likely, it's gonna be Stokes, but her and Stokes are probably gonna go at it. I believe Kia Vaughn, who started at center last night and played 27 minutes, and has a sore Achilles. I don't think she's gonna play much minutes at all. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't play at all. I would not be surprised. Asia Wilson is a lock. Yes, James, I agree. Rebecca Allen and Powers. Either or is good. Kid's good. I think Ariel Powers is going to get some time. T. Hawkins is out. I would think that they brought her to this team and made the trade for a reason. And this is a spot where she's going to need to come in and put some time in. So I think Miss Powers is a good play. Rebecca Allen, the same thing. Kia Vaughn played massive minutes last night. A little sore Achilles. There could be a good chance New York don't play her at all, even on a blowout situation. Rebecca Allen could be a very good play, as well as Miss Stokes. So either or, you have a tough choice there. I mean, that's for sure. Mitchell girls, yeah, I like the Mitchell girls. I just finished saying it. I'll say it again. Tiffany Mitchell, Kelsey Mitchell, and Victoria Vivians are definitely my favorite Indianapolis players for today. I am definitely like the Indianapolis backcourt today. Kelsey Plum is a fade at 7-3. Yeah, I mean, I would rather pay up $700 more. I think she's $700 cheaper. I'd rather pay for Kayla McBride. No doubt about it. But Plum is dangerous, man. She's a nice little offensive player. Wow, Kia Nurse or Sugar Rogers. I'm going to say it for the third, I think it's the third New York game in a row. I've said the only one I really like is Kia Nurse. And I'm going to go with Kia Nurse. Sugar Rogers is in play, but she commits a lot of turnovers. Kia Nurse only commits like one turnover a game when she gets sufficient minutes. She played 30-somewhat minutes last night. She only had one turnover. Sugar Rogers had 4, Yeah, I like Kia Nurse. Okay, Randy says you fade Deladon if you want to win a GPP. Well, it's a 2-game slate here. I mean, the only thing you need is to make sure those value plays are the right ones, which could be Kia Nurse, which could be Rebecca Allen, which could be Miss Curry or Miss Pratt. Those are going to be the key players, man. Deladon, hands down, should be in play for everybody. And even if she's 50% owned, there's nothing wrong with having 2 or 3 players that are highly owned. You're not going to get 7 that are going to be highly owned. Not in this slate, not when you have New York as bad as they are. Yeah, Tori, I like Vivian's as well, with double A out. Okay, Tori says he loves Dupree tonight. All right, I mean, Dupree is okay. I mean, I don't see her putting up massive numbers against Washington, but I mean, I don't see her putting up like, an 8x or something like that. But she's good for 27 to 30, 32. So, I mean, I would rather fade her and play someone else. But I mean, that's my opinion. But I think she's out of the front court players for Indiana. I mean, she is the better play. De'Arica Hamby. Yeah, De'Arica Hamby. Yeah, kick's good. I agree with that. I said it. De'Arica Hamby could be someone that you could watch today. And even more so, yeah, if the game gets a little out of hand, she normally comes in and gets a lot of, blowout game time. So I could see Miss Hamby playing a few more minutes if that is the case. All right, Tori says he likes Wilson and Hamby. I don't disagree. I think that's not bad. I mean, Hamby is not that expensive. She's about 46, 47, 43, so not too bad. Devin Washington, Kia Vaughn. Yeah, I would fake Kia Vaughn. I think today, if you're going to do anything with New York in the front court, it's probably going to be Stokes or Allen, at least for me, in my opinion. I don't think Kia Vaughn is going to play. And after playing 27 minutes last night and still having a sore Achilles. Wilson, Charles, and Deladon. Frank Fisher. Wilson and Charles. Man, I am not on Tina Charles, Frank, to be totally honest. I'm just a little worried with New York as far as how many minutes she'll play, and especially if the game gets out of control. If the game becomes a blowout, I can't see Tina Charles playing more than 30 minutes. She played 33, 34 minutes last night, so it's tough on a back-to-back, especially going up against a young stud like Wilson the very next day. And then, of course, you got to think of up front. They also have T. Young, so Tamara Young is a little feisty, physical girl too, So a tough spot for Tina Charles today. But again, Tina Charles has proven us wrong many times before. I just don't see her putting up large numbers, especially after a back-to-back and playing the massive minutes that she played yesterday. Deladon, I like Deladon and Wilson. They're definitely the two best front court plays today. Latoya Sanders, yeah, kicks good. I mean, I already, I went over, I touched on Latoya Sanders, and what I like more about Latoya Sanders is not only the defense that she brings to the floor, but the energy. But she is a little physical. She can get a little bit into foul trouble. But the most important thing is that she has not played against Indiana. Indiana has not faced Latoya Sanders this year, and Washington already beat them twice. So that's a big, Latoya Sanders is a big, integral part of this team now. Again, when these teams play early in the year, this is what happens early in the year. You don't know really what you have until you've played. And I said it when I first started WNBA videos, is that we got to get a feel for the players, and we got to see who's going to be part of the rotation. And then that's when I went into more statistical data after 6 or 7, 8 games, because you got to get some stats first. You got to see how the rotations are going to work, who's playing, who's not, and so on and so forth. So now we know Washington, hands down, Latoya Sanders is going to play. As long as she's healthy, she's going to be on the floor. Tiffany Mitchell, better ball handler. I would agree. Definitely a little more slashier. Is willing to go to the paint, willing to go into the basket. Tiffany Mitchell is that Tiffany Mitchell is a good player, man. I like Tiffany Mitchell. She just fell out of offense on this team because her shots weren't going down earlier in the middle of the season. But at the beginning of the year, she was the one who was really getting the bulk of the minutes. And now all of a sudden, she's starting to get some minutes again, and she's starting to find that range, and her field goal percentage is going up, and she's getting her confidence back. So that's why I say she's someone that you can definitely target today. I just feel just the upside is a little bit better with K. Mitch and Victoria Vivians. Yeah. Again, Tori, that's the same thing. That's why I faded her. Erica Wheeler is not a bad player, but 6,300 on Fanduel. I think that if I go down to some of her teammates, there's a little bit more value there, and I'm going to get about the same value because she's about a 25 girl. On an average, she can get you 23 to 25, 26 fantasy points on average on a good night. She doesn't have tremendous upside. She's not going to go and get you 35, 40, any given day. So I like more so the chances with a GPP. You want to take a risk more with someone who not only gets sufficient minutes, but takes a slew of shots, and hopefully those shots start going down. And Atkins, as well, Victoria Vivians, as well as Kelsey Mitchell, can bring that kind of element to the game. Frank on Mariah Jefferson, she can be. I am not on her today, but she's only 36 or 3,700. She's good for 1 fantasy point per minute. We've discussed that here before on DFS Zone. She's good for that, but I am not going to be on her today. She's 3,600, so you need about 15 or 16. She can get you that if she gets 15 or 16. If she gets more than 15, 16 minutes, you'll be okay. All right, Benitez, you got Kelsey Mitchell, Monique Curry, Asia Wilson, De'Erica Hamby, Latoya Sanders, and Kayla McBride. That is a nice, that's a pretty nice lineup there for DraftKings. And you say you got 500 left in the bank. Any value plays? Now I don't have my DraftKings open because I do play on draft. I actually have a couple of lineups set up for DraftKings tonight as well. $500 more you have left over. I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with leaving money on the table. So, I mean, I think that lineup looks pretty good. The only one that I may be hesitant about or a little concerned about would be Paulie Hamby, but I definitely like Kelsey Mitchell, Wilson, Sanders, and Caleb McBride for certain. And Curry is not a bad play. I think Curry is a better play than Pratt, at least in my opinion. For 300, at least on FanDuel, she's $300 more here. I think she's going to get a little bit more minutes. She normally gets a few more minutes than Pratt, and at the same time, she is shooting better from the floor. So I'd rather go that route. All right, James. That you're absolutely right. That can happen, James. No doubt about it. Curry could start the game, but again, if she gets in the flow of the offense and she's making some things happen, I think she'll get the sufficient minutes. But again, I am not telling anybody they cannot take TRP. Ruffin Pratt is definitely in play at $3,600 here on FanDuel, and I think she's just a little bit more on DraftKings. I think she's 4,000 and change. McCall or Curry? From hood to riches, McCall or Curry. I did mention McCall earlier as a possible, value play for the in this slate due to the fact that Indiana, if they start falling behind here in this game, she could be about someone that you could definitely consider. You need 15 from her. She's capable of getting you 20. She did 18 and 23 in the last 2 games. So, definitely in play. No doubt about it. All right. So she is someone definitely to consider. And Curry, I already said, Curry's definitely in play as well for the minutes there. If I'm going to go with either one, I mean, just looking at the matchups, I mean, you could save by taking McCall. You'll save $400, but I mean, I probably will lean more towards Curry. But then again, that's me. I mean, that's what I would do. But I think you got a nice dilemma there, McCall or Curry. I think Curry gets more time than McCall, but McCall and Curry both have 20-point upside. So it's all about the matchups, and I think Washington, Indiana, giving up 47% to opposition from the field goal. As far as field goal percentage, and her shooting 44% from the floor away from home. I kind of like Curry a little bit more. James Perkins. James, you're not going to let it go, huh? The Cowboys will win the Super Bowl. He posted that earlier on the Facebook group. He talked to me about the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. Hey, anything can happen. The NFL is fastly approaching us, guys. We don't know what's going to happen. We know that there's always one surprising team. Maybe the Cowboys may be that team. Cowboys got ways to go compared to some of the teams that made the playoffs last year. But, they're not that far away, but they definitely need to get it together and quick. Their division is tough enough as it is. You got to deal with Philadelphia, the reigning champs. You got the Giants, much improved as well. And, of course, you always got to deal with the Redskins. So, tough task for the Cowboys just in their division. I would go Mark Benitez. I would personally go with Carolyn Swords over Hamby. Yes. Kick's good. Hey, Kick's good is a Jet fan just like me, man. Now you're even more my favorite person here, Kick's good, because I'm a Jet fan as well. Let's go Jets. Gang green all the way. Jet Nation. All right, guys. We're about to wrap it up here. I'm going to do some fine-tuning. And then I'm getting all these instant messages as well. So, yep, so that's pretty much it, man, guys. So, again, wish you guys a lot of luck tonight, man. I appreciate you guys coming out, like always, and discussing the slate. I guess the video was okay today. It looks a little blurry on my side, but hopefully you guys were all right with it. O-line is suspect. Yo, we're gonna get into that NFL soon, guys, and we'll be able to talk about all the Jet action, the Dallas Cowboys, whatever you guys want to discuss NFL when that time comes in another week and a half or so. We're gonna get into that as well. All right, guys. All right, man. Wish you guys the best of luck. Appreciate you guys coming out, man. Much love here from you guys. I definitely love you guys coming out and talking some WNBA. Let's see if we can make some money tonight, all right? Go finish up those lineups. Hey, no problem, Tim. Thank you so much for coming on and being a supporter, man. I appreciate it. And like I said, it'll continue on. WNBA, we're going to do NFL. It's going to be a great year. We're going to keep doing the live shows. I'll get better at them, and I'll keep giving you the best possible information, and that's all I want to do, you know? Green Bay. Green Bay, Wisconsin is in the house, man. We got the Packer fans coming out, too, boy. It's Jets, baby, all the way, man. Jet Nation. Let's go Jets. Let's go Donald. Anyway, all right, we'll get pumped up for that soon because I'm going to get crazy for the NFL, but we'll get to that soon, guys. All right, guys, man, God bless. Have a great night. Good luck tonight. Fix those lineups. Hopefully you guys make some money, and we'll chit-chat again. Remember, tomorrow, no games tomorrow, so there's no video and there's no live show. We will be back on Friday. Friday, a massive slate, 5 games, and I believe it's 5 games. 5 games on Friday, and we will have a live show as well. So look for that.